Hello friends, welcome back to my new channel, and if you are new then like, share and subscribe. This video is about women's psychology. Most men walk away far too early. Not because the woman felt nothing, but because she hid her feelings extremely well. When a woman appears emotionally controlled, keeps everything casual, never shows need or attachment, most men jump to one conclusion: she's not really interested. But women's psychology tells a very different story. Sometimes the woman who wants you the most is the one whose ego is working overtime to hide it. Not to manipulate you, not to play mind games, and not to confuse you on purpose, but to protect herself. Strong desire doesn't always show up as warmth. Often it shows up as restraint. Past experiences, emotional scars, and fear of losing control can push a woman to mask what she truly feels. So instead of leaning in, she pulls back. Instead of expressing interest, she appears neutral. In this video, I'm going to break down 5 clear psychological signs that reveal when her ego is covering up deep attraction. I'll also explain one critical mistake men make that instantly shuts her down, even when real desire was already there. This video is about awareness, not manipulation, not pressure. So let's uncover what most men completely misunderstand about female psychology and attraction. When attraction is light, actions feel natural and effortless. There's no hesitation, no inner struggle. But when attraction becomes deep, it stops feeling comfortable. It starts feeling risky. For many women, intense desire doesn't create ease, it creates fear. Fear of losing emotional balance, fear of becoming attached too quickly, fear of being seen too clearly and getting hurt. That's when her ego quietly takes control, not to manipulate, but to protect. Instead of showing interest openly, she becomes measured. Instead of moving closer, she creates a little distance. This reaction isn't random. Her mind has learned to associate strong desire with past pain. So when feelings grow powerful, her instincts push her to stay guarded. Psychologically, her ego responds by presenting the opposite image: calm, independent, unmoved. On the surface, she appears emotionally neutral, almost indifferent. But that neutrality is not absence of attraction, it's containment. The feelings are there, they're simply too intense to feel safe expressing. This inner conflict, desire pulling one way and self-protection pulling the other, creates mixed signals that confuse most men. They see distance and assume disinterest, never realizing it's often the depth of attraction itself that triggered the retreat. Sign 1. She quietly aligns with your world. When a woman feels only light interest, her world stays unchanged. She remains grounded in her routines, her preferences, her perspective. Nothing shifts. But when attraction runs deep, something subtle begins to happen. She doesn't announce it, she doesn't even consciously decide it. She starts absorbing you, your way of thinking, your opinions on small things, your energy. When you enter a room, a show you mentioned once suddenly appears on her list. A place you casually talked about becomes something she wanted to try anyway. She'll frame it as coincidence, as chance, as her own independent choice. Because her ego won't let her admit that one person has started to influence her internal world. But psychology tells a different story. True alignment doesn't happen randomly. It doesn't happen from curiosity alone. It happens when emotional attachment begins forming beneath the surface. When a woman is deeply drawn to you, her mind starts synchronizing with yours, not to impress you, but its connection naturally pulls people into the same rhythm. She's not losing herself. She's quietly making space for you within her life. And when you notice this subtle alignment, understand what it really means. Interest has already crossed into attachment, even if her ego refuses to say it out loud. Sign 3. She remembers details. She pretends not to track. You casually mention something small. Nothing important, just a passing detail. Days go by, weeks pass. Then out of nowhere, she brings it up lightly, almost absent-minded, as if it just happened to cross her mind. But that's not chance. And it's definitely not coincidence. Memory follows attention. People don't retain details, unless those details occupy mental space. And mental space is only given to what matters emotionally. She remembers because she was listening, and because she kept thinking about it afterward. Her ego, however, won't let that show. So, she reframes it. She plays it down. She presents it as casual recall, rather than focused interest. Not because she doesn't care, but because caring too much wills revealing. Sign 4. She creates intimacy, then pretends it's nothing. She starts building small shared moments, private jokes, Subtle callbacks. References only the two of you understand. This creates closeness. But the moment that closeness feels real, she pulls it back. It's not that deep. I joke like that with everyone. This push and pull isn't confusion. It's self-protection. Intimacy feels good. But vulnerability feels risky. So she tests connection, then hides behind minimization. When you see this pattern, understand what's happening. She wants the bond. She's just afraid of what admitting it would expose. She stays silent online. No likes, no comments, no obvious reactions. From the outside, it looks like disinterest. But somehow she knows things she was never told directly. A post you shared, a place you visited, a detail you never mentioned to her personally. That's not coincidence. That's quiet attention. Her curiosity is active. Her ego just refuses to leave visible evidence. Public engagement feels risky. It feels like exposure. So she watches from a distance, staying informed without revealing interest. This kind of attention isn't casual. People don't monitor what they don't care about. Now here's where most men make a critical mistake. The moment they sense this hidden interest, they confront it. I know you like me. Why are you acting cold? Stop pretending. What feels like confidence to a man feels like pressure to her ego. Instantly, her self-protection switches on. Pride steps forward. Desire steps back. Instead of opening up, she emotionally withdraws to restore control. Not because attraction disappeared, but because it suddenly felt unsafe to show. When her ego feels challenged, connection shuts down. Understanding this difference is what separates emotional intelligence from emotional sabotage. Here's something most men never fully grasp. Sometimes women don't hide their desire because it's weak. They hide it because it's incredibly strong. Their ego isn't trying to block you. It isn't a wall to climb. It's a shield, a protective mechanism designed to keep them safe. When you stay calm, when you remain consistent, when you stay emotionally grounded, her defenses begin to ease. Not because you pressured her, not because you demanded openness, but because you demonstrated safety. True connection is never forced. It isn't built through confrontation, arguments, or chasing. It grows naturally through stability, patience, and quiet assurance. If you learn to read behavior without reacting emotionally, you stop misinterpreting signals. You stop walking away from women who actually care deeply. This isn't manipulation. This isn't a strategy to win someone over. It's simply understanding psychology. And understanding, the ability to see past the surface, to interpret subtle signals without panic or neediness, always gives you the advantage. It lets you hold your ground while letting her ego relax, creating a space where real desire can emerge safely, naturally, and fully.